Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your girl Michelle. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing key tips that I had to learn and unlearn as a mother. This beautiful young lady right here is my firstborn daughter. What's your name?
Lyric.
She's 12 years old and she's kind of in the tween stage, which makes it a little difficult. This is a difficult stage for me as a mother, and there's certain things that I'm noticing about her as we go through the stage of our mother-daughter relationships. As a parent, there's no manual, so it's all an experience with your children. You have to learn the things that they like and the things that they don't like, and maybe adapt and adjust certain habits that may not be conducive to their upbringing and to their mental health. For me, the overall goal is to make sure that my children have a great quality of life. Today's going to be a very intimate, calm, chill talk. You guys are going to hear from Lyric's point of view as well as mine. So if you guys are excited, make sure you like, you comment, and subscribe, and we're going to jump right into it. First thing I'm going to talk about is the things that I had to learn being a mother. Quick backstory: I had Lyric when I was about 22 years old. I had no idea what it was like to be a mother. I just knew that I was excited to have this beautiful blessing growing inside my belly. Lo and behold, when she was born, she was the greatest gift I've ever received and the most beautiful child. She was very quiet child, but very well behaved. Basically, my first child was a walk in the park. Let me know if your first child was very easy for you. I noticed certain things that she went from a toddler into now her preteen stages. Nothing too crazy, but I do notice that she's starting to get older. She has more of an opinion. She has more of a little tude, and these are things that are to be expected. And sometimes as parents, we kind of don't understand it. Their shift in their behavior is kind of drastic. She literally grew up overnight, and that's what it looks like in my eyes. I'm just like, wow. I remember changing her diapers, and now she's wearing lip gloss and skinny jeans. It's crazy how your children grow up before your eyes. So the first thing I feel like I had to learn with being a parent is affection. And that's something that was not too familiar for me growing up. It was a little foreign for me when she got out of the infancy toddler stage and she started to become more vocal and she became more independent. I noticed that I wasn't so good with the affection. I know that children require that. You need to be able to nurture your children. So being that I didn't really grow up with that and see that, I wasn't used to doing that with my daughter. I don't know if that bothered her or if she noticed it, but I did notice that our dynamic together wasn't very touchy, cuddly like some parents do. Lyric is somebody who is not as affectionate either. I feel like I'm to blame in that situation because a child is only going to do what they know and what they see. Do you feel like I wasn't as affectionate when you hit a certain age?
No, I think we're still like affectionate. It doesn't always have to be like touchy. Like we always hang out and talk and stuff. I just don't like affectionate that much.
Why do you feel like you don't really like affection?
I don't like being touchy with people.
Does it make you feel weird or?
It makes me feel weird and uncomfortable.
Do you feel like the way you show your affection is differently? It doesn't always have to be, let me hug you, let me kiss you.
Yeah, like
different
watching
ways.
A movie together.
Different type, like different. So basically her love language doesn't require her to have to always receive a lot of kisses and hugs. Do you want that from me? Do you require
show me enough affection?
Maybe I don't give a lot of hugs, but do you feel like I do it in other ways?
Like vocal. We like me and you, we like, I love you, always texting and stuff like that. So like, not physical, but vocal, probably.
Okay, so our conversation is more of how we show our affection. Through our conversation is how we kind of show our affection. But as for myself, I do want to learn how to feel more comfortable when it comes to affection because I do have two other children that are younger than Lyric, and I know that children need that. Although she may not express it, she's probably used to how I've been raising her, which is not through a lot of affection. So that's my first thing I want to learn how to is to change the uncomfortable feeling that I have with showing affection so that she can now feel comfortable receiving it and giving it. The second thing I had to learn with being a parent is to communicate. Making sure that I have that open door for her and allow her to feel like she can come to me with anything. A lot of times in this age, they start to close up and they are kind of like, you know, my parents are not who I really want to go to, but I always want to make sure that with me it's her safe place, that she can come to me with anything, because the worst feeling I think as a parent is hearing something else from somebody else about your child. I always want Lyric to make sure that she can come to me about anything, whether it's something that she's not comfortable about, something she's afraid about, something that's bothering her. I want her to be able to say, Mom, this, that, and the third, and not feel like I'm gonna judge her. Over here, she knows that I never judge her. Like, I want her to always know mommy is a person that you can always go to. I'm always going to be there for you, right, wrong, or indifferent. Do I make you feel comfortable to come to me, or you feel like there's certain things like I just can't tell you?
We tell each other everything. Literally, I tell her everything that goes on. So me and her, we are always comfortable when talking.
If your child cannot come to you, you don't ever want them to go to somebody else and confide in somebody else and get information and advice from somebody else that's not their parent. Not saying that parents know it all, but we should be the first people that our children go to instead of that second alternative. The next thing I had to learn as a parent is to set boundaries. And when I say that, I mean, I'm one of those moms that's pretty cool. My kids, you know, my kids always say, Mom, you're so nice, this, that, and a third. But I also want to set boundaries and let them know that, yes, I'm a nice mom. Yes, we can kiki and haha and we can go places, but I'm not your friend, you know. And sometimes parents forget that. You got to separate the two. If you allow your children to have a lot of freedom, feel comfortable enough to talk to you however and do whatever, they're going to think that they can just walk all over you. So it's very important to set boundaries and let your kids know that you're not going to talk to me crazy. Because sometimes, just sometimes, I have to catch myself. Certain things that Lyric says, it sounds like it's being disrespectful. I know that she doesn't mean to do it, but it still sounds disrespectful to me, and I have to like chin check her, like, no, Lyric, I don't like the way you said that to me. And so when I let her know about it, then she, you know, apologizes, Mom, I didn't mean to. There's certain things that I had to make sure that we're grounded so that she knows, yes, I'm your mom, yes, I'm cool, but you can't talk to me crazy, you can't disrespect me, and you have to know the difference between me being your mother and your friend. Why do you think it's important for parents to set boundaries with their children?
Because you can't let your child like rule you and run over you and think that they can do whatever they want, because then they're gonna grow up and then they're gonna be out of control, and when they're in school or stuff, they're gonna get in trouble. Then they're just gonna be known as a bad child.
I feel it all starts at home. We don't tolerate the disrespect over here. So now moving on to unlearning certain things as a parent. This can be very difficult, especially if you are used to living your life a certain way and you have a certain routine that makes you feel comfortable. But again, you're gonna have to bend, you're gonna have to do certain things because our shortcomings and our lack thereof can affect our children. Expectations. Expectations for my daughter, wanting her to walk or follow the same footsteps that I did. For an example, I used to be a dancer and music was my everything, and so once I realized that my daughter could do a few TikToks with me and we was, you know, getting busy and doing all of that, I was like, you know what, I see something in her that I had in me, and you know, I felt like I was kind of pushing my dream onto her. As a parent, you can't expect your children to do what you wanted to do and never did it, because you have to let them blaze their own trail and follow their own heart and do what they desire. Although we see a gift in them, you can't force them to do what you want them to do. At the end of the day, they're gonna be miserable, they're gonna be unhappy, and they're gonna just be pleasing you. You know, if she wants to be a librarian, if she wants to be a model, if she wants to be an architect, whatever she feels and whatever she desires, that's something that I have to sit back and let her do. Even if I don't totally agree with it, it's her life, it's her choice. The next thing that I had to unlearn is impatience. Okay, sometimes children can really, you know, force your hand. Sometimes they really make you want to just whap them. Like I said, at her age, in her life, I feel like she's trying to find her identity. This is the most crucial time for her, where school can be hard for her. There's peer pressure, there's a lot of different things. So she's trying to find herself, and she's noticing different changes about her body, her mood, you know, hormones are just going crazy. So I had to learn to understand and take a seat back and say, you know what, she's going through a transitional stage, and to not lose my cool or take things personal or take how she says things personal, because I know it's not aimed towards me, it's just her trying to figure herself out. I had to remember, once upon a time I was her age, and you know, I didn't have somebody to really focus on me the way I'm focusing on her. So I want to make sure that I'm paying attention and I'm aware and I'm mindful of certain behaviors, so that we continuously have that strong, solid bond. I know you expressed to me how much school is like, do you feel like that plays a big part in your attitude sometimes?
It does. That's why when I come home from school, I'm not in the best mood at all.
Yeah, sometimes her moods are just like, they go up and they go down. But just like anybody, we all have good days and we all have bad days. But I do know that sometimes school can be very hard with your children. So that's why I always check in with her. This goes back into communication, making sure that I'm here to uplift her when she feels like, you know, her self-esteem is not up there. I say all that to say, I learned to not be so impatient when she comes off certain ways. That goes back into boundaries. We're not gonna let her get all crazy, and we're not gonna use it as an excuse, but I do wanna make sure that I am mindful and I'm paying close attention to that. And for the last thing I feel like I had to unlearn is to talk less and listen more. Sometimes us parents feel like, you know, we have the upper hand, and if our child does something that we don't like, we're just gonna give them the speech, we're gonna scold them. But sometimes our children just wanna be heard. And I feel like that's something that I had to sit back. I had to step back and realize that sometimes when my daughter will come to me with something and I don't agree with it, I'm quick to, yeah. Well, I think that this, da. But instead of that, I learned to let her talk. Let her say her piece and let her express herself, because if I'm shutting her off and I'm just talking over her, I'm not allowing her to express herself and to get it out, which then is going to create more anger inside of her because my mom's not listening. My mom doesn't hear me, so what's the point of me even talking anyway? That's going to create something inside of her that I don't want. And do you feel like I do that, or do you feel like there's certain things that you would like me to work on?
Well, I feel like every time I talk to you, like, sometimes you don't understand me, so I have to, like, you know, like, explain over and over again. But then you'll eventually, like, listen to me and listen to what I actually have to say. Because some parents don't do that, and they should do that. Sometimes their parents won't listen, and then their kids won't tell them anything. Then they're like, oh, why is my kid not listening? Why is my kid not telling me anything? Well, that's why.
Sometimes it may seem like that, but again, like I said, I have 3 children, so I'm always like doing 3 different things throughout the day. And sometimes, you know, she'll tell me something and I'm in the middle of like helping her sister with her homework, or her brother's crying, you know, so sometimes it gets hectic, and then I'm not aware of her actually just trying to tell me something. It seems like I'm not listening because I just give her a quick answer, or I don't respond the way she expects me to respond, and then I can see a change in her mood or her face drop. So these are the things that I want to make sure that I'm unlearning, making sure that I'm learning better habits so that she can have a better life. And that's basically what my goal is for all 3 of my children. Nowadays, it's really hard for children to find somebody that they can really confide in, and sometimes they make the wrong choices and they go left because they don't have what they need coming from the household. This video is not to come at anybody or bash anybody. This is a video that I actually wanted to do to spread awareness for other parents, because some parents are not mindful of what their children need. All children really need is quality time. They don't need to be bought. They don't need 1,000 gifts and, you know, vacations and this. I feel like it comes from home, and what you can give them is free, which is love and quality time. And so right now is important for me to pay close attention to her needs and her wants.
Some of my friends' moms, like, they tell me how they are, and I'm like, they're like, oh, like, I wish my mom was like your mom, and like, your mom is so nice, your mom is so sweet and understanding. I'm like, what if you, like, I would try giving them advice and tell them, like, what if you actually try and talk to your mom and explain to her what's actually going on? Because, like, they're getting yelled at and getting in trouble, but their mom probably doesn't even understand what's going on. So if they talk to them and actually communicate like we do, then maybe they'll have a better relationship.
Children are acting out, or they're acting different than normal. There's something going on, and they need your attention, and that's probably what the problem is. You know, they really just need some sense of security and assurance from you. And like I said, there's certain things that I didn't get as a child growing up, and so I wanted to break that. I said to myself, when I become a mother, I'm not going to do the same things that I was taught or shown. I'm gonna do it my way, how I see fit for myself. Like I said, there's no manual, and everybody parents different. This is the way I parent, and I just want to make sure that my kids are okay up here mentally. Right, guys, so this pretty much wraps up my video. This is something I enjoy. If you guys would like to see further videos like this with my daughter or with my youngest daughter, feel free to leave a comment and I will do so. If you have any other topics you want to talk about with like parenthood, motherhood, feel free, fatherhood, whatever it is that's on your mind, feel free to leave me a comment. If you guys enjoy it, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on all my social medias. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video.